Nairobi is hosting a green finance conference. This type of funding has so far been unreachable for many small and medium enterprises. Discussions have focused on funding projects to mitigate climate change, eco-conscious investments, and the risk climate change poses to financial institution portfolios. Now, delegates say climate change regulation has the potential to spur the development of new products and services for individuals and SMEs. Now, the UN recognizes Kenya as a green finance leader. However, the funding practice is still struggling to take off due to financial sector regulations. Well, joining me in the studio to discuss funding climate change initiatives is David Ekabuma. He's the head of business development at the Africa Guarantee Fund. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I'd like to start with something the AFDB said. It said there's more capital out there than there is ready renewable projects on the continent. Do you agree with this? Of course, given the fact that your Green Guarantee Facility provides financing to SMEs in this sector, are you disagreeing or disagreeing with what the AFDB says?
I totally agree. The reason being that there is actually a lot of capital which is looking for good project to finance. Unfortunately, for many reasons, those projects are not ready bankable. And that comes because of SMEs are willing to be involved in climate-friendly projects, but there's a lack of capacity in conducting those projects. So definitely, there's money available, but not bankable projects.
Like you just said, now many green projects, they say, are not well structured to attract investment on the continent. Now, what do you think will be the catalyst to encouraging the right environment for green financing, to thrive on the continent, both in terms of the financiers and the projects?
So from on the continent, there's a need to have a conducive framework. Most of the time, what we see, except for Kenya, for example, where the government of Kenya is spurring initiative in setting a conducive framework. Most of the time in other countries on the continent, the framework it's not set, and because of that reason, the financier don't see the stability that they need to pump in capital.
Right.
On the SME side, there's need to entrepreneur needs to understand that if you have an idea, that's good, but to have access to finance, you need to have the proper governance structure. And
so
that is
policy
lacking.
changes are important as well. Now, when we talk about green financing solutions, give us some insight into what types of products and services are available on the African continent, and what is your take on how they're being commercialized?
So there are a lot of initiatives that have been going. Most of them, some are public and private partnership. For example, there's a Green Climate Fund, which is a Seoul-based multilateral institution who is providing at a concessional rate financing to financial institutions in Africa. But unfortunately, the beneficiary of those funds, they still have a lack on how to structure green product to meet the need of the SMEs.
Now, I'd like to get your take on the Paris Climate Agreement. Now that the US has sort of abandoned its leadership position, how do you think that will impact Africa's goals in climate change going forward?
That's a good question. We tend to believe that it will not impact that much because although the leadership in the US has abandoned its commitment, Americans are still committed in the climate related issues. And there are other countries that they will not back off just because the US have abandoned the Paris Agreement. And actually, what we are seeing happening, we are seeing more and more initiative related to climate financing coming to Africa. And nothing has been disrupted because of the decision of the US government.
More initiatives, more funding as well?
More funding the problem is finding a match between the funding that are coming and bankable projects. Right. That's the issue. That's where AGF is coming in with the support of our shareholders to build, to increase the awareness of on climate financing.
Right.
And that's one step. And to help our partner financial institution to understand the challenges and the risks that are related to financing those projects. And we believe that if they understand that, they will be able to unlock the capital that they have.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Thank you for your insights. Of course, that was David Ekabuma. He's with Africa Guarantee Fund.